Hey guys, in this video we will be looking at Agent 365. We'll look at what is included in the license, the thing, and we'll also look at the different admin centers. So this will be a series, and the first series will look at the Agent 365 in the M365 Admin Center and the licensing. Second series that will come in a week or two, but it will be about Purview and how to look into the Purview Admin Center using this license. So without wasting your time, let's just jump into this and look at what is included in the Agent 365 $15 per user license. Agent 365, Microsoft says it's the enterprise control plane for AI agents. So let's just jump into what Microsoft is saying about this. AI agents aren't coming, they are already in your environment. You know what? I can actually say this is quite true for most of the customers I've had governance sessions with, because I see a lot of agents being created from Agent Builder, and the Copilot Studio and Power Platform environments are also filled up with agents, especially the default environments. You should turn this off, by the way. Nothing should be built in there unless you are a very small company that needs to actually just use it and you're a couple of people. But again, these are risks. They are risks that come with new ways of building, and we will dive deeper into how you can actually just mitigate these risks. AI agents, most of you use AI agents. I prefer calling some of these chatbots assistants. They have access to a large language model, and they can generate the next token with access to some tools and some context in terms of documents, RAG, or a vector database. So I asked ChatGPT to quickly generate a picture of me earlier today, and it generated this picture. And then I asked it a minute later, it generated this picture again. So if you don't know me, I'm Wario. I used to work as a cloud solution architect at Microsoft. Now, just working for myself, started my own agency where I do governance, AI governance, Copilot Studio, Copilot, Microsoft Foundry, and I also build on-prem agents where you run your own models locally. So this is what was generated. You can see here this was quite different, and this is the non-deterministic nature of these large language models. So you have these guys here who just had to explain themselves. You don't want your company to be the company that is doing this, or you don't even want to be Deloitte, because these guys had to actually pay back $440,000 in a report which was generated. And then in Norway, we have these guys. This is actually turning into a physical problem, because here it says AI blunder stops police. So the police is getting stopped from picking up these people who are occupying some houses. And this is how they say it in the news. Oh, shit house. Sorry, that's not the word I want to use. And also lately, there's been a lot of international football, and we do have some translation here, and this means fuck. So actually, this is the Norwegian national anthem being translated word by word and on national TV. So this is stuff that should not happen. It can happen, okay, but this is should not happen on national TV. Where are the guardrails? Where are the compliance? Where is the governance? That is what we are talking about today. So excuse me. Shadow AI is the new shadow IT. Yeah, this is, I partly agree with this, and I've seen it scale. There is a lot of agents being built. There is a lot of assistants being built. Users are installing Cloud Code. They're installing OpenClaw, and this leads to identity sprawl. It also leads to ownerless agents, which we will look into the admin center. You also have data oversharing. This is, when I go to a customer and they have SharePoints misconfigured. Thank God we have some. You can run some assessments that in the SharePoint Advanced Management Center, and get the reports and start cleaning up your SharePoint. Because if you don't do this, the agents have access to these delegated rights. The agents will have access to what you have access to, and they will be able to generate new content based on this. So if you worked in HR and had a lot of different access to finance, you had access to the salaries and everything, and then you leave that department and you go to a new department, you will still have access to those documents. Tool misuse, of course, AI and the large language models comes with new security risks like prompt injections, tool misuse, and what do I say, agent hijacking and model hijacking. These are all things we can cover in a later session, but it's good to know. And this is where I see a huge blind spot for my customers. Local agents, they actually bypass most of the audit if you don't have some way of restricting, let's say, OpenClaw, for example, or the Cloud Code CLI. And they bypass e-discovery and the DLPs because they're running on the machine. They're not running in the cloud. So they will not be, most of the guardrails we have are in the clouds. Microsoft states these three governance challenges. These are a consistent policy everywhere. How do we make sure that each agent that is created is following a consistent policy? And how do we, this is quite political also, how do we take the freedom and the oversight? Like where do we put innovation and control? So how do we balance this? This is a political question in most of the customers I've worked with. And the developers want freedom, they want to innovate, they want to use the technology, but we have the CISO and the security team making sure that things are always some usually locked down and then they open up. And this is life cycle. So if you don't have a life cycle, you will be stressed out as an admin or a guy or an organization. You will end up with ownerless agents. You will end up with agents that do a lot of sensitive things without owners, and this is not what we want in a while adopting AI. So this is some of my thoughts why traditional IT fails for agents. If you think about it, traditional IT, it was built for humans. I've started in a couple of jobs. I've been at Yara, I've been at Bouvet and Microsoft. So each time I started a job, got a email or a message. Hello, Wario. Welcome to the company. This is your email, and this is your the accesses you have, and this is your team. That's it. From there, you can audit everything I do, all my sign-ins, and everything was quite deterministic. I just have to press buttons in real time, and this is audited. Let's talk about AI. AI is built for autonomy. So these agents run 24/7. Some of them, they run every hour. You have automated agents. Let's take an agent in Copilot Studio, or if you're using Azure functions, they will run by themselves. They can clone themselves. You have multi-architecture agents. So this brings also tool chaining problems, and it brings access decisions which are made on the go. So the agent decides what tool to use in the middle of the conversation. So if a user or an autonomous agent has access to a lot of tools and there is a prompt injection, it will of course give back the answer if there are no guardrails. And the audits must capture the prompts, the responses, and the tool calls. And this is just the beginning because there is more capability coming. We have skills, we have all these plugins, we have MCP servers, which also have to be audited. And the business needs to know where these skills live and what scripts they're running, because in the skills you can run scripts, which you will see in some of my later videos. And DLP must actually follow the content through inference, not just storage. So if Copilot generates something new, if an AI agent that is running in the cloud, let's say you use Claude SDK, is generating something new, the newly generated information also has to follow DLP and your governance. So this is some of the research done by Microsoft. Microsoft has done this research and says that if a company doesn't have a center of excellence, I actually prefer calling it a center of enablement, you will realize 3.7 times faster or accelerated business value by the use of AI agents over a given time. So I will not dive deeper into this, but you can see the importance of having a center of excellence team and an AI council that will actually manage the AI cases. They will manage the risk, ownership, and the life cycle of the agents. So these are the challenges. I love challenges because we need to answer the challenges, or else they will become a huge, big problem for the society. So what is Microsoft answer for this? It's a control plane and not a console. And in this presentation, I will use some of the admins here. This is a Norwegian name, Ida. She's the Microsoft M365 admin. What does she have access to? She has access to observe in the central registry. We'll look at this in depth in a second. And then she can govern this agent, the life cycles. She can approve agents, and she can audit them from M365 Admin Center. Not exactly audit them, but she can see what actions has been taken and how often the agent is used. And then you have the secure. So in the secure, this is just enforcing the trust by using Entra ID, conditional access, and Purview data protection and DLP. You also have Defender. I have a video about using Defender, on how to use the Defender to actually threat hunt for Copilot Studio agents. And there you can have your own custom query language queries that will get you the different agents. And then you have Intune endpoints as posture as a signal. So for the local agents, we will look at how you can actually look for local agents, let's say who has installed them, and you can block, for example, OpenCloud. Simple architecture of the Agent 365. You do have the Agent 365 here. It's the control plane. You have the agent registry. You have the agent map. You have the registry sync. You have lifecycle rules, policy templates, sponsors, and owners. So beneath this, you have the Entra admin center. You have the Purview, Defender, and Intune for threat and endpoint. So these are the admin centers that power the Agent 365. You can find most of the same things in the different admin centers. So Microsoft is basically finally pulling everything together in one place. And the agents you can have in the Agent 365 is the Microsoft 365 Copilot, Copilot Studio, Foundry, Bedrock, and Google Vertex. And then you can have the open close and whatever local agents you have. So you cannot govern what you can see, and you cannot secure it if you don't understand it. This is important to know for the IT admins and the agent governance teams, because if you don't know what you're governing, if you don't know what an LLM is, if you don't know what inference is, then you will have a hard time governing this stuff. So Ida, she can observe agents, and when she's observing these agents, she can track them. She can see every agent in the registry. So for this case, I will not waste your time by showing you slides. I will take you through the agent registry itself so that you can see how it looks in a real tenant. So this is the Agent 365. You will see the overview here. And what I'm talking about now is the registry. In the registry, you will have all your agents. You will see agents without owners, agents at risk. And you will also see, let me take you through, let's take an example of workshop agent here. So the workshop agent is a Copilot Studio agent that the users will be set up here. You have the data and the tools. You will have the security, permissions, and the activity. So each time it's used, you will see who is using it and how it's being used. Remember, this is for the past 30 days. So this is the registry. And from the registry, you can actually manage pin agents, you can add agents, and you can customize views. So let's see here. In this, you will also be able to change ownership of agents, but let's focus on this. So this is with the license. You will see the registry, the requests, shadow AI, and you will see unmanaged agents. What are unmanaged agents? They're agents that come from outside the platform. So this is from the platforms that are connected through the sync. Then you will have the AI teammates, all these filters. You will the publisher, the platform, the channel, and whatever you decide to bring us in as a filter. So that is the agent registry. If you don't have a license, this is how it looks. You will only see total agents and agents without owners. You will not be able to see the risks, the active users, the total sessions. And yeah, that's it. Microsoft is actually making you pay $15 to be able to see this stuff, which kind of makes sense, but also is quite expensive. So you can also sync other platforms into your agents or into your Agent 365. You have Amazon Bedrock, you have Google Vertex AI, Databricks Genie, Salesforce Agentforce. What you need to do is just connect. This is a Google Cloud example where you bring in a support help desk agent. You will see the last successful run, and you can manage in Google Cloud from here. So you can this will navigate you to your Google Cloud, and you can sync agents anytime from your Google Vertex AI. Let's talk about the local agents. So you have Shadow AI in the Agent 365. Shadow AI will actually block OpenClaw. It will detect and then block. This is done by using Microsoft Intune policies. And these policies, you will be able to read the full details here. But let's look at what actually this does. Because Microsoft, you will probably apply them from here, but what are you actually applying? You can go to the Intune Admin Center and see what happens. And once you go there, you will see this in all services: endpoint security, security baseline, local AI, agent baseline, OpenClaw. And you will see what is happening here. You block Node.js in program files. So that is the reason that Microsoft is saying blocking OpenClaw may also block other processes. So you have to be careful of what is being blocked here. You can put in your own policy, but make sure once you block this, no other processes are being stopped. So now Ida has to work with Ortan, who is the Intune admin. So now we have two admins who are working together, and these people have to actually make sure that whatever they're doing doesn't affect other systems. So as you noticed, agents at risk is not available if you don't have the license. And what does this agent at risk actually give us? So agent at risk shows us the agents here with high severity risk. You will not see the low severity. If it's zero, it doesn't mean there is no risk. There can be risk there, but Microsoft is only putting up the high severity risks. And if you look at this, you will see that let's say we want to dig deeper into the risks, and we want to see what investigate. So who can access the different risk registers? You have the defender here, where you have the security reader and security administrator and global reader. But what is interesting is the Purview. So Purview is a tool that being is very underused, to be honest, and it has a lot of capability, a lot of different roles. It's a whole different world there. So none of the roles that most of the admins I work with while doing governance can actually access Purview and see this. To access those risks in Purview, you actually need these roles here. You must be in the IRM, which is Insider Risk Management role within Purview. And this role, you need Insider Risk Management Analyst or investigators to actually get access to the risks in Purview. So now we have Ali, who is joining us here. He's the Purview admin and can use these roles. Let's now talk about consistent policy, because you remember one of the challenges was setting up consistent policies. In the Agent 365, you see here, you have the templates. Let me check if my tenant is back up. So in the settings here, you will see the policy templates. And inside here, you can add a new template, and you have different templates. What is a template? A template is basically a policy consistent policy that will be applied on creation of new agents. And you can actually create your own policies, but you do have the default policy for agents, and you have the default template policy for agent templates. So these are AI teammates. So let's create a new policy quickly. So test, let's call it YouTube demo, and you can choose here what kind of agents does this policy template. Is it agent without their own identity or agent with their own identities? This is agents without identities. These are not registered in the agent identity and try the agent registry. So you will have agents with their own registry, and from here you can assign licenses. You have the available licenses. You can also choose the location. So let's choose Tanzania. And then we have all the licenses you can actually assign to these agents. And once you've assigned these licenses, each time an agent is created and the agent gets this policy, then the licenses will be applied to the agent. And then you have the default policies for security and protection. You have the identity protection here, which is from Entra. You have network visibility, and you can learn more about them if you want to change them or do anything with them. As you will see in the next video in the Purview default policy, I will show you how to change it for AI agents. But here you have the Purview audit enabled, detect sensitive information in the DSPM, in the AI interaction. I'm looking really forward to the Purview video because we'll be going through all of this. And this is Defender, advanced hunting, and real-time protection for M365 agents. So these two are different, and I will show you how to set them up for Copilot Studio agents in a while too. So here you have all of these SharePoint ones. You have the access control for sites. You have agent access rights, and this once you set this up, you can go to next and save the template. And once the template is saved and you create a new agent, you will be able to apply the templates to those agents. So I will delete this template. This is how you delete the template. Once it's deleted, the entire policy default policy for those types of agents are gone. So that is a policy template. So I'm going to show it here again quickly how it's created. You will see all the different, you review and save. So let's take an example here. When you are deploying a sales development agent, you will first navigate to the all agents overview and choose the sales development agent. I have already deployed it, so that's why I'm showing the pictures. And here you will see activate because it's not activated. The sales development agent is an always on sales assistant. So this agent, you can run it in simulation mode to see how it answers your customers. And also once it's done with simulation, you can turn it on so that it can start answering the low value questions and your team can focus on high value interactions. So now we will activate these agents and you activate it, define which users will have it. So usually it's a specific user group for these types of agent that are always on. And then you apply the template. So this is default agent template for AI teammates. Microsoft just changed this before, right after I screenshot this. So then you will see the licenses, which will be assigned to the agent. And from there, you will see the default policy also that gets assigned. If there are any permissions, like special permissions that this agent has, if it's graph, if it's calling on other MCPs or MCP servers or other connections, then you will need to set up the permission here, review and finish, and deploy the agent. So once this is done, you can navigate to the Entra Admin Center, and there will be a sales agent digital worker. So this is the agent blueprint. And this blueprint, we will discuss it in the next video or the video after that, how blueprints work. This blueprint is zero now. It is created. We have deployed the AI teammate, but we have not deployed an instance of that AI teammate. So what happens next is I have to move to agent M365 Copilot, navigate to the agents, and create an instance of this agent. So what we have done is basically we have created the blueprint, and now someone has to actually create the AI teammate. Then I call this sales agent for Oslo, and you do have to give this agent a name and an email alias. Why? Because this agent is going to be always on. It can answer customers. It can draft emails and send them. So this agent needs to live as a teammate. It's an AI teammate and not an assistant anymore. So that's why we need the alias. Once it's created, we go back here. You will see that there is one agent identity and one agent identity, and that's how you create an AI teammate. You have also created an AI template. So let me take you through the other things that you could use here to save yourself a lot of time in your governance. In the settings, you will see the agent management rules. In here, you have reassign ownerless agents created with agent builder to manager. So this is a good thing to have because, but also this should be stated clearly in your governance papers or your compliance, because then you will have no ownerless agents, but the managers have to be responsible for the agents. So a lot of work on managers if there is a high turnover. So be careful using this. And you can also install all the Microsoft agents. So if you have any new Microsoft agents that are first party Microsoft agents, they will pop up here and you can process them from here. So I see there is some new here, and I usually just push them for myself in my tenants. And once they're processed, you can they are installed for the users. So you can see the details here. Install Microsoft Publish Agent for all users in your organization, and it only applies to agents that are not already installed via the license. What does via the license entitlement mean? This is the researcher agent and all this, and the analyst agent, which come out of the box when you have the M365 Copilot license. I hope you understood that. And let's look at the tools. Inside the tools, you have the requests now. I didn't have this before, but users can start requesting for MCP servers. They can start requesting for tools, and they will appear here once they start requesting for the tools. This can be from Cowork and other agents that the users create using the SDK or whatever they decide to use in your company. So Shadow AI, I don't have permissions, it says, but I do have permissions. So these are coming soon, but for now, this is the OpenClaw. and you can have the security policies here. Turn them on. Already showed you that, and all the agents. So here you have the registry, you have the map, and agents at risk. So we have covered what mostly can be done in the M365 Admin Center. And the overview is really cool because you will have the registry, you have the active users, you will have the time saved, not time saved, but run, because doesn't actually mean you save the time. So that's it for the M365 Admin Center. If I missed anything, just drop it down in the comment section. In the next video, we'll look at the Entra Admin Center and what you can do from there, like create blueprints and how to manage blueprints with sponsors and owners and the workflows. So thank you for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate you all, and see you in the next video.